Shalom, we say shalom, and we give all praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai. We give double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone that feed us with knowledge and understanding. Much love to the elect brethren on the four corners of the planet Earth that's been set up through faith to help seal the elect that the Lord brings in. We're at the time of the end, man. Jump right into this. Had a bunch of things, prophecies been happening this past week. You know, this demonic East just came up. So we're gonna go through some news stories and try to edify you the best as I can. We'll read this story here. And it says, DARPA made a device that turns insects into remote-controlled cyborgs. Alright, this man's a devil because this is leading into that. I'm gonna tie it into the later on with the chip. And it says, image YouTube screen capture. DARPA created a device that hijacks the insect brain and body, turning it into a miniature drone. Also read DARPA, because I seen one where they did it to a beetle also. Okay, they did it to it was like a beetle. It didn't fly, but it just walked on the ground. So they're definitely into the creating or the manipulation of the brain. So it says, also read DARPA is making real-life Terminators. Seriously. Through a DARPA-funded program, scientists in the University of California invented a tiny rig that connects to the insect's brain and flight muscles. Once implanted, the device takes over the insect's body, turning it into a remote-controlled cyborg capable of receiving flight commands wireless from a nearby laptop. And engineers at C-Razor are developing small robots to aid in search and rescue missions and disaster relief, but nothing has been made has come close to the size and capabilities of an insect. Rather than creating such a robot, the University of California scientists decided to take a shortcut, because nothing you can do can beat the Most High's creations, man. Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai is created things to a perfection, man, to tiny molecule levels, into great big planets and solar systems, man. The Most High is perfect. He's omnipotent, man. Okay, and he gave the Lord the power to do these things, man. And it says the University of California scientists decided to take a shortcut. Insects are just amazing flyers compared to anything we can build at that scale, said leading engineers Michael Maharbiz in the interview with Weird. This is not the first time scientists use technology to control insects, and we're just going to play the video right now.
Researchers in Michelle Harbis's lab at the University of California, Berkeley have developed a wireless system to control the flight of a giant beetle. Researchers in Michelle Miharbitz's lab at the University of California, Berkeley have developed a wireless system to control the flight of a giant beetle. A scientist sends a wireless signal from the laptop to the beetle to start and then stop flight. The beetle, seen in the upper part of the frame, is tethered for practical purposes.
Okay, try it one more time. Start command. Stop command. Okay.
Here, the beetle is attached to a clear plate so that its flight pattern can be better observed. An oscilloscope next to the insect shows the electrical signals as they are delivered. A short oscillating pulse triggers the animal to flap its wings, and it continues flapping until a short signal pulse tells it to stop.
And if y'all remember in the Fifth Element, remember that scene where they took the roach and they put it in the president's office? Okay, they've been had this, and you know the Fifth Element came out a long time ago. That's it. Now I'm gonna play this video to show
Chip identification device
that this man's gonna try to control you, man, with that RFID chip.
is implanted into their body.
After 9/11, I was really concerned with the security of my family.
In the 1960s, Professor Jose Delgado took a normally hostile bull and implanted electrodes into its brain. Electrodes that could be activated by a radio transmitter. His objective was to see if stimulation of the bull's midbrain could short-circuit the rage signals, stopping the bull before it reached the matador. After the bull had recovered from the implantation and in mid-charge, the button was pressed. The bull's aggression ceased instantly. A clearer experiment was performed with cats. In this classic example, the hypothalamus, the rhythm maker, was implanted with electrodes. Could it be responsible not just for rhythms, but also for rage? The switch is turned. Then the switch is turned off.
So that's showing you, man. This man is, that's why it says they're gonna put that chip in your arm or your brain, man. So this, when you take that mark, you're receiving like a remote control access, because chips aren't supposed to be in the human body at all, man. You see what happens when a splinter goes in your body? It wants to reject it. Anything that's foreign to the body is going to be rejected, man. Okay, but they're going to try to implant those chips to control people, man. Yeah, it's going to be carnally and controlling their money and different things like that, but the chip can also control your brain and control you. This is Book of Revelations 13 and verse 16. And he causes all, both small, rich and great, and he causes all, both small, great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. Alright, and where's your forehead? Your brain. Okay, so that shows you in electrical signals can be sent through in your brain to mess things up, because our brain runs on electricity system. Okay, our minds would communicate with the neurons. They use electrons, man. Okay, to compute with our brains and to go into the stems that connect, man. The impulses, so they're gonna try to control people. This man is the devil. Alright, so we're gonna jump right into the next story. Show you niggas ain't having rest here, man.
Another racial upheaval right now because we have a black president, which is why I also say watch out, ladies, we're up next with Hillary. But let's stick with the black and white for now, because that's the current thing we're all yelling about here in my favorite country in the world. In case you haven't heard, Black Lives Matter. Somehow, through our collective conscience, that incredibly obvious statement has become the rallying cry against racism. And that's great, because black lives do matter, like every other life. And America is still racist. But because America has no therapist, we don't get the mental assistance we need to work through complex issues. So instead we just yell at each other in frustration. A perfectly simple sentiment has now been co-opted by every angry person for any reason at all. So the message is getting distorted. And now people feel like they're getting Black Lives Matter rammed down their throats. And they are. And maybe some people need it rammed down their throats. But then don't get mad when they don't listen because they're too busy gagging. And that's kind of what's going on now, gagging. Because as a backlash to Black Lives Matter, people are stringing up nooses all over the country. Nooses, ropes, to string around black people's heads to hang them from trees. It doesn't get any more hardcore racist than a noose. And they're showing up everywhere now. One was just at their student center. There's no explanation or note with it, no group taking responsibility, nothing, just a noose. And nothing else is needed, because the noose does it all. Racism lives here. Over in Indiana, a fire chief, out of the blue, tossed a noose to one of his firefighters, who happens to be black. Message received, boss. TJ Maxx, that store that sells cheap crap made in China, they were just selling a t-shirt with a noose on it, with the adorable saying, "Hang loose." Got it, TJ Maxx. Over in Mississippi, a black kid was given a black doll with a noose around its neck by a coworker who said, "This reminds me of you." Nice, coworker, nice. There's more too, but you get the point. Lots of nooses are popping up all over America right now, because this is how we handle any issue in this country, with intolerance and screaming and sensationalism. Why? Because when it comes to listening and absorbing complex issues, America is a real pain in the neck. Yes.
This is the book of Isaiah 28 and verse 12. Or Salakia. This is Isaiah 28:12. And it says, to whom he said, this is the rest wherein ye may cause the weary to rest, and this is the refreshing, yet they would not hear. So we're telling Jakes out there, look, this is not your rest, man. This land is the land of your enemies. This land is the land of punishment. We have to come and agree. We have to come and what you say, accept our punishment of what has happened in the past, man. The Most High now is giving us the opportunity to come back to Him, and this is the rest of coming back to who we are and understanding that we're going through a hard time for just a moment, and then we're going to be redeemed. But the rest of Jakes, they don't want it, man. They don't realize that these devils hate us, man. There's not going to be a time that we'll all live in peace, and it was never meant to be that way. They'll always hate us, man. They never stop hating us. Okay? So you just have to come to the realization this is not your rest, and come back to the Most High, Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai, and who you are. Okay? Go to this next video. We're just going to play these videos back to back to show you that the Lord is casting judgment on these false churches, man.
The associate pastor of a Hendersonville church dies while working on a church van.
That happened this morning at the New Beginnings World Outreach Center. News 13's Jerica Insko joins us live from that church.
And Jerica, what have you learned about the associate pastor?
Hendersonville police say that 69-year-old Henry Lineberger of Etowah died in this accident as he was preparing to help others. He was a part of this church for nearly 20 years, and he was the associate pastor for about 12 years. Now, police say Lineberger was getting ready to pick up food that was going to be delivered to people in need. It's a part of the food ministry at the church which he runs, and it serves about 100 families here in Henderson County. Now, officers say he was changing the brake fluid on the van when it started rolling down an incline and then rolled over him. A church member told me he was loved and appreciated for what he did at the church and for her family.
Always-spirited people have just always a positive attitude. You can be negative, it can get you positive again. Yeah, you can't replace that, man. You can't replace him.
Now, the pastor told me over the phone that this unexpected death will be mentioned in Thursday night's service, and of course this church is saddened by this loss. Reporting live in...
Beautiful. Let's go right here. This is during Easter.
I don't know what's happening. I don't see anything because it coming down whole ceiling. That's it.
Yeah, I mean, were you just during church services?
Yeah.
And what was your reaction? I mean, what did you start doing when it started happening?
I don't know. I don't know.
We saw the ceiling going down, not going down, but like collapsing, like the trap. And then we didn't think it would actually fall, but we saw like some of the pieces fall. And then like while we were singing, it like fell down. And then there was my teacher of the class. He told us to sit in the sides, but there was this woman didn't sit in the side, and then she got badly hurt. She got cut in the head. Actually, the men you were just interviewing on saved the woman who got cut in the head. And, well, yeah.
Oh, so you saw him actually go, what did he do when he went to go?
He went in, and then he carried the woman on his back, and then just laid her on the floor and just called the ambulance.
Guessing 75 to 100 when we first got...
This is the book of Proverbs 1 in verse 24. Because I have called and ye refused, I have stretched out my hand and no man regarded. Because now the truth has been out, man. But you got these prideful Latinos, Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans that want to stay in that Cesare Borgia spirit. They want to go into these harlot houses. So the Lord is starting to make things happen in those harlot houses. Since you won't come out of there, He's going to force you out of those things, man. Fit carnally. Because only the elect is going to come back to the understanding of who they are and back to the Most High, Yahweh Shem Yahushai. It says, because I have called and ye refused, I have stretched out my hand and no man regarded. But ye have set all at, it says, and ye have set at not all my counsel. Who's the counsel? The men that the Lord has set up, okay, to push forth the truth and understanding in His Bible. And it says, and would not none of my reproof. I will also laugh at your calamities. I will mock you when your fear cometh. When your fear cometh as desolation, and your destruction cometh as a whirlwind. When distress and anguish come upon you, then shall they call upon me, but I will not answer. They shall seek me early, but they shall not find me. That's why a lot of them people in that church, they didn't find no peace, man. Okay, there wasn't no deaths in the church, but the situation showed itself of what happened, man. Because a lot of them people in that church were Latinos. All right, this is the book of. Let's jump to Psalms real quick. This is verse, or Salaki, let's jump to Amos. This is Amos, and I'm going to close on this. I ain't want to make it too long. This is Amos 5 and 23. And it says, take thou away from me the noise of thy songs, for I will not hear the melody of thy vows. Because they said they were singing at the time the roof fell. It says, but let judgment run down as water, and righteousness as a mighty stream. Have you offered unto me sacrifices and offerings in the wilderness? Let me read verse 23 to 24 again. Take thou away from me the noise of thy songs, for I will not hear the melody of thy vows. But let judgment run down as water, righteousness as the mighty stream. Alright, so with that, I'm going to give all praise to Yahweh Shem Yahushai, Barakathu Yahweh, Barakathu Yahushai. The water for the truth that we've been given, and double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone that push this truth and it fed us and keep doing the work, man. Alright, keep faith. Much love to the elect brethren on the four corners of the planet Earth. Shalom.